So I discovered the Fuji X when the X100 was announced. At that time, I didn't think it was ready for me, or I was ready for it, but I was starting to use smaller cameras, mirrorless cameras, and I started to see that after a while I took my big Canon DSLRs only with me to justify to the clients that I was a professional photographer. But it's not that they're bad cameras, absolutely not, but I started to really enjoy working with the smaller cameras. So it took me a while to get along really well with the X Pro 1, because that was my first Fuji camera. We disagreed at times, we fought at times, but we came to the point that we started working really well together, the camera and I. And I started to enjoy it so much that it's basically my main camera system. I do 99% of my work with my range of Fuji cameras because I believe they support my way, my vision of shooting, so it's a good fit. However, there are occasions where you need longer lenses or higher resolution or whatever, and I wouldn't hesitate to rent whatever I need, but it was a bit of a jump into the dark and in the unknown to sell my DSLR kit last year, because I'm a working professional photographer, so I need to be able to deliver. But in the end, it's now been more than a year that I'm working without any DSLRs, and I haven't yet had the need to rent anything else. So to me, it's a pretty complete package with all the new lenses and the cameras. So I found out that I was basically developing a gap between my professional work and my personal work. I found out that I shot my clients completely differently than my friends, my children, my family. And I actually felt more for the pictures that I took in my personal life, although technically maybe the professional ones were better, but they were cleaner, more perfectly lit, well set up, but I kind of missed the realistic feel of it, and I started thinking and analyzing my own work and also the work of other photographers to see what is it that draws me to that picture that I like, and then I need this sense of truth in my pictures, that realistic thing. And it's very often that you find that the small detail, one or two small details that are wrong, that gives an image a lot of authenticity. I come from a television and video background, and one of the few things I remember from film school was when they taught us about the Zapruder technique, and Mr. Zapruder was the guy that filmed the death of President Kennedy. And it's a very shocking video, and it's completely technically bad, but that's what it gives it so much drama and realistic. And so I kind of try to put the same principle in my photography. And today I don't worry about small imperfections. I welcome them to make my pictures more real. And sometimes I even go as far as to introduce some imperfections, shoot straight into the sun so you can get a bit of lens flare, and that gives the images a lot more truth in it. And I don't like the fake world of over-the-top perfection. So that's kind of the way that I went, and that goes hand in hand with the personal work and the professional work going together. Sorry, my camera almost dropped. But the important thing is that also clients, and it's not just private clients, it's also advertising and commercial work, some of them also like this truth more than the fake stuff. So I figured that, yes, maybe I'm going to have to find some new clients who don't require that perfection, but at the same time they must be out there. So I can feel a lot better, and I feel a lot stronger about this is what I do, and some other people might like more glamorous, and that's fine, it's completely fine, but this is what I do, this is me. And now my professional work is also going more in the direction of this is me, and I can really stand behind it for 100%. So the way these cameras work with me to achieve the goals is in different ways. It's, first of all, technically these cameras have an amazing sensor. Also they are designed for photographers, so they feel logical in my hands. They're simple to use, but you also have to work really well and concentrated to get the most out of them. It's not a camera for sloppy photographers. If you just want to put it on automatic, this is not a camera. But if you are consciously photographing, this is a great camera. So it's the technical package to me is very good. But what also helps is that it's small and light. So it allows me to take my camera much more, to travel, to move a lot faster. I'm a big guy. If I have a big backpack with 15 kilos of photo gear on my back, there's no way I can move through people or narrow streets. I just knock over everybody. So to me, it is easier to move going unnoticed, or at least not have the same barrier between me and my subject. So I can be more natural with people. If I hold this up to my eye, this is not too big, I still am in contact with you. While if you have the big camera, people do like this. And now I can be closer, can be more intimate in my photography. And so to me it is that complete package of technology which is important, but even more important is the fact that people don't see me as a threat when I'm using one of these smaller cameras, and I can go really close to people and let them be who they are. And at the same time, it forces me to interact, because with a big camera I can hide behind it, take a long lens and go way back. But with this I'm forced to get to know the people and become more personal, and I think that translates in the pictures that they also become more personal. To me, it is very essential, if you want to make a good portrait, that you have your own definition of what is a portrait. And many people think that a portrait is a picture of somebody like this, but to me that has nothing to do with my definition for a portrait. And mind you, you might have a completely different vision, and that's fine, but the thing is, you need to come up with a definition yourself of what a portrait is. And for me, a portrait is a picture that tells a story about somebody. And you basically have to choose which story to tell about somebody. So you see something and you don't really go for like the superficial external things, but you start, is this person somebody who is like happy, or is this a serious person, or is this somebody who is maybe a bit scared, or whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's pretty easy to, in a couple of minutes after meeting somebody, to kind of get an idea of what kind of person you have, and let every technical decision be the result of the story that you want to be telling. So you have to know what you're going to be telling. And then lots of photographers ask me when I teach workshops, yeah, but why do you choose this lens, or why do you choose that shutter speed? But it's all dictated by circumstances a bit, but mainly about the story that I want to tell. And so if you want to make a picture of somebody like very happy, you go and look for shallow depth of field. You go and look for, and make them smile by telling a joke or acting silly, which is something I'm very good at. And you look for a white or a bright background or an overall feel, and that's gonna make the whole picture fit together. So every technical choice will fit together. So to me, that's the key thing to good portraiture, is to have an idea what story that you want to tell and then tell it. And you can go, the first step you need to go through is to go for the obvious. We can, generally when we meet somebody, we have in a couple of seconds, we have an idea of what kind of person this is. but people are more complex than just one thing. You cannot say this is a happy person. We're all happy and sad at some time, or mad or whatever. And I sometimes prefer the challenge of trying to get a lesser known part of somebody's personality out of him. And that's hard, and it doesn't always work. Some people don't want to show that. But to me, it's a matter of respect for the person in front of me, is to try to dig a little deeper. I often tell this, like, even the most shy person, once in his life, he's going to be dancing naked on the bar. And that's the kind of moment I want to get out of somebody. Not that I photograph every serious person naked dancing on a bar, but it's just that unknown thing to get out of it, or get a different layer in that portrait. To me, is the key to good portraiture in general. It's too dangerous to say that, buy an X, because you know, it's like, it has to be sincere. If you're interested in improving your photography, go deeper and create that extra layer in your work, challenge yourself, then I think the X series of the Fujifilm cameras are amazing. They will challenge you, they won't make it easy on you, but if you stick to it, you will be rewarded by things that you didn't think you could do.